Hi everyone. Right, I hope there's no one watching this that believes for 1 second that the footage I'm about to show you is anything other than a publicity stunt. Now, whether you have any interest in UFC or not, I'm sure you've had the story about Conor McGregor going on a rampage and attacking a UFC bus forced down your throat. This supposedly comes, if we read this story in the Chicago Tribune and every other sports and news publication that is reporting this as a real event. We hear that he was stripped of the belt, went on a rampage, attacked the bus. Now bear in mind, Conor McGregor, if UFC is legit, would be under a contract which would have told him how frequently he needs to defend his title without being stripped. He would have been well aware of the fact that he was going to lose his title. We will watch this shocking new footage emerges of Conor McGregor bus attack and shows the extent of UFC rivals' facial wounds. Nasty, hey? This is going to be terrible, you can bet. Right, let's watch it. There he is, Conor, going mad at the bus. There's people trying to hold him back. Right, here we go. Now look how fortunate it is that someone happened to be stood by this window with a camera at this moment. Of all the windows he could have thrown it at, he threw it at the one which had someone filming. Right, so as we just saw, a metal trolley was just thrown at the window, smashed everywhere. Whoever was sat on the other side of that would have been pretty badly injured. And as we read up here, shows the extent of UFC rivals' facial wounds. Okay? Must be pretty battered after that.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
What? That's it. That tiny little spot there. After just having this window smashed right in front of him. And he's got one tiny little cut on his forehead. Yeah, right. What a joke. Well, now he's...
What the fuck is wrong with him? Whoa.
Now he's going mental, looking for anything he can find, and in a minute he's going to do something which will just demonstrate exactly what UFC is all about. Here we go. What's he looking for? What can he find?
Smash the windows! That's why. Oh yeah, fucking Jesus Christ! Dude, what the
Here we go. What an absolute joke. He's picked a chair up. Now where else do you see that? Professional wrestling perhaps? Here we have footage of another UFC world champion, Ronda Rousey, and she's now taking part in WWE. And here in this picture she's just smashed someone through a chair, through a table by the look of it. The whole sport, UFC, is a joke, okay? And this sums it all up. Right, let's watch Conor McGregor go on a rampage. Right, here we go. Here's another bit that gives it away as a complete joke. Take a look at who stood on the other side of this vehicle. That looks like law enforcement or some sort of security person, just dossing around on his phone, doesn't care what's going on. He knows, he's been told keep out of the way, let him do it, they're going to film it.
Conor McGregor's tweet. They threw a chair through our window of our bus and we're...
Right, and now another bit that just gives it away as a complete joke. Listen to what we're going to hear in a minute. This guy, he was sat right by the window. He would have seen everything. Okay, let's hear what he says.
He has this cut really bad.
Cut really bad. He's got one tiny little spot on his head.
Throw that? Yeah.
Did he throw that? He just asked. Did he throw that? Mate, you were sat there. You saw the window come through. What a joke.
We need... Okay, thanks.
I hope no one saw that footage and for 1 second believed it to be a real life event, despite the newspapers all reporting it as real. Another thing we'll read in this Chicago Tribune article The Irishman turned himself into police Thursday and was charged with 3 counts of assault and 1 count of criminal mischief after his role in the fracas. McGregor appeared in handcuffs Friday afternoon at a packed Brooklyn courtroom where a judge set bail at $50,000 and set a court date of June the 14th. Okay, so he's now on bail. The judge also said McGregor would be allowed to leave the country, according to reports. What? Can you leave the country when you're on bail? He was released after a brief arraignment and ordered to stay away from the fighters Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg, among others, including via his social media. So he was released after a brief time in custody, I guess. So, bear in mind, this says it was in handcuffs. Let's have a look. This is him appearing in court, I think. Does he look?
There he is.
There he is. Does he look like he's in handcuffs to you?
Conor, what's the message to your fans? Conor, what's the message to your fans, Conor?
He's got the handcuffs.
Why'd you do it, Conor? Conor, why'd you do it?
And leaving court, still not in handcuffs. Now you might think, well, what's the harm in a sport doing a publicity stunt like this? Well, my problem is that all these news agencies reporting it as a real event. Nothing mainstream media reports is true, in my opinion, and this is just a perfect example of how they'll try and trick you and lie to you and get you believing in something that isn't even real. Alright, well, any comments or questions you have, I'd be interested in hearing. Thank you very much.